No.
Let's go chew the fat. The one secret that I don't tell anyone is I did spend a weekend in Miami Penitentiary over the Thanksgiving weekend after being arrested in Florida for an arms deal, and that is true. So today we're going to be speaking to an old mate of mine, Simon Jones. Might sound Welsh, but he's actually a Jewish South African from North London and a Spurs fan. Simon's story is a little interesting. Not only is he a chef, and a chef that's been travelled all over the world, worked in many places. Recently he put himself on a fitness kick at the age of 40. I think he dropped maybe 20 kilos, changed his term plant-based, vegan, gave up drinking, gave up smoking, and shed about 20-25 kilos. And now he's doing Ironman, triathlons, triathletes, and he's 40. That's me, Simon. Here he is. All right, Dave.
Here you go, mate.
So,
Jewish South African from North London. How wrong you are. How wrong you are.
he is a Spurs fan, though.
Definitely a Spurs fan.
But if any of you have been to, when you come to Byron Bay and you go to Elements, Simon's a chef, or the head chef, executive chef, give him his proper title. How did you get into chefing?
My old man was in the military when I was a kid, and used to live out in Germany, stationed out there. And my neighbour was a chef at the time, and it looked like a good job. So I went and did a bit of work with him over the summers and stuff like that as a kid. And yeah, he was a chef in the Air Force, a neighbour, and yeah, just fell in love with it from there really. So yeah, cracked on and enjoyed it so much that I started doing it over summer. I got paid really well as a kid, you know, and I was like loving life and working all over those summers. So I think I found that work ethic young, 15 years old. Yeah, work hard, you get paid. It was well as a kid, certainly well as a kid. So yeah, it was good. Yeah, I got to eat well, and I just went and worked with him over the summers, and yeah, did that for my work experience at school, and just fell in love with it. Yeah, because prior to that, I was more into my sciences and stuff at school.
Oh, scientist.
Yeah, biologist.
Bloomfield kind of scientist? Were you mucking around with all the dishes?
No, not at that young age. No, it was just academically. I was more interested in science than anything else. But when I did that over those periods and over those holidays, it was a job. So the job found me. Yeah, it was fantastic. And then ever since then, that's all I've ever done. So
yeah. And you worked as a chef because you were telling me before you came to Australia, you were working on boats, was it?
Yeah,
on luxury yachts.
I left Germany and went to school because my dad was stationed in Germany, so I left home at 16 and went to college in the UK in Cheltenham, and yeah, from there I've just had this travel bug. I think it was my dad being in the military. Every 3 years you kind of move, so I did 3 years in Cheltenham and then a little bit of time in Oxfordshire, and then off to Canada. Went and lived in Canada for 3 years. From Canada I went to Bermuda to LA back to London.
Did you ever find the triangle?
Yeah, no, I swam through it. Yeah, like a little corner through. I can't remember the name of the town.
Is what people say?
No, man, like no, don't know anything about it. They used to, didn't they? I don't know. Yeah, I think so.
I've always heard the story, but I've never.
It's a corner off of St George's in the island, yeah. But you can actually swim around that corner. So I have swam through the Bermuda Triangle at one point.
Is it a bit like the Loch Ness Monster?
I think so. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Do you know what the Loch Ness Monster is, Dylan?
Yeah.
Do you know what the Bermuda Triangle is?
Yeah.
I'm just checking. Dylan is 19 and we are 40-ish. Just making sure I'm not leaving anyone out.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what you've... me and Simon met in F45. We were F45ers and then started to play soccer together. And one day I was saying to him, you should watch this show Game Changers. Probably many of you have seen Game Changers. And I think it affected me, but affected maybe him a whole lot more than it affected me. And he's changed what have you changed? What have you changed in your whole life to achieve what you've started to achieve?
I don't know, I just
and your fitness and health?
I think I hit 32 years old. I ran a marathon in London, like London Marathon years ago when I used to work in London, and you know, it was a fantastic experience. But ever since then, like, I've always drank, I've always smoked since I was living in London. had lots of fun and it was great, you know, and I did all those sort of things. But as I've grown up now, I just feel that, you know, I need to let go of some of them vices and change some things. And then it was just little pieces, like game changers was the diet, the booze was another one as well. Like I just decided it wasn't good for me anymore. So, and I wanted to change that. And it was just little points of realization. I went to the pub with my mate, and who'd recently split up with his missus on a Sunday afternoon. And it was a thing I used to do every Sunday, was go to the pub and have a few beers, and more than a few beers, you know. And that was my Sunday religion. It was just go and do that.
British thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even Irish thing.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it, you know. That's what we do. But I went with my friend, and he'd split up with his missus, and we sat there and put the best part of $350 over the bar, and just, you know, and it was more so that weekend because he was sad, you know, and then it just left me feeling a little bit down, if I'm honest. Yeah, because I've gone through that. I split up with my wife, obviously, back in the days, and yeah, and then I got up on the Monday morning. I felt awful. I went to work, and I was working doubles, and I worked sort of 9 in the morning till 10, 10:30, 11 at night. That's my regular business. And I don't know, like with anyone else, but you carry those hangovers with you till Wednesday, Thursday now. So all I'd done is invested $350 of my hard-earned money in feeling like shit till Wednesday. And that was just, it was a realization that has to stop. So I ruined my week, and I just said I had enough of that. So
you pay for it.
Yeah.
You actually pay if you look shit.
Yeah. So I'd kick that one, and that was easy. That was dead easy. I haven't looked back, so I haven't, you know, I haven't had it. And I didn't have a drinking problem. It was just a traditional British binge drinking. I thought I'd struggle, but I go and watch the rugby, I go and watch the football, I do all those things I used to do, and I drink sparkling water, you know. I took inspiration from Darcy on that one. So
I remember when I never drank until I came to Australia.
You are lying, 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 lying.
So I'm 40 years old. I probably started drinking beer 15 years ago. I enjoyed it because I would see all my mates getting pushed, and it was always my way of keeping clear head, and it was easy to pick up girls. You would never, and you wake up the next day, you would not have that feeling of shit. I know what you mean. There was that time when I would take drugs, like cocaine, just drugs for, I think, certain body types enjoy certain things. Me, I'm already high as a person, so I don't mind. I like to come down. So when I was a kid, I was a dope smoker. I would always say it was the best thing that saved me, because when we were drinking, we became aggressive and we went and did bad stuff. When we smoked hash, we kind of stayed quiet and watched The Simpsons and drank lots of fucking tea. But when I came to Australia, there's a cocaine society. It's like cocaine, and I tried it many times, but a bit like you, is that I would feel shit and a bit depressed. It's not a bit depressed, really fucking depressed, for a good 2 or 3 days afterwards, and then I would do it again the next fucking weekend.
yeah, you're investing in that.
And this stuff wasn't cheap back then. It was like $200. This is going back maybe 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and I would really look forward to getting smashed again. It was just that mentality of just, yeah, let's get me and talk shit. I thought, fucking, I can do that now. I've realised at 40 years old, I can do that without anything. Have a cup of tea. So I think many people, including myself, share that with you, because I think when anything becomes more than, when it's taken more than it's given, that's when you know you're out of balance.
Yeah.
And it starts, if you don't fix that, it comes at that for a long, and some people never recover, and it just keeps, and that becomes the norm.
Yeah.
And if I look at people back in Scotland, you even in Britain, you'll see people, well, that's just the day, that is it. It's such a part of our culture.
It's a band-aid, man. You put it over these things. You drink. I used to, because it was, you know, fun. But looking at that day in particular, my friend was sad, so he was drinking. It's a band-aid, but the band-aid causes you more damage than it solves. You know. So that's when I just had this whole thought process around it, and I was like, that's got to go. So I cut that one out. That was done. And
I
then
was thinking, spent 300 quid and went to like a retreat, massage, exercise.
especially in my group, you know, like
you'd be shot down.
yeah.
But you would be feeling a lot better for it. I always remember when I got married, the guys would say, let's go to a strip club, let's go to a strip club. Really? I would have rather went to like a fucking one of these places girls go to. I want a facial, I want a fucking massage, I want a pedicure. I do. I want all these things because they're nice and relaxing. Somebody else pampers you. I don't need to keep drinking. For me, if I go out for a beer, maybe have 2 or 3, maybe 4. The first beer is the best beer. Second beer, you're kind of on the way of losing the taste and appreciation for it. And the third beer, well, that's the point of nearly no return. You're on that point to go fucking 4, 5, 6, 7, And for me, it's like I enjoy a beer in an Aussie climate, but if I'm not having a beer, sparkling water, squeeze a lemon juice.
Just as happy as I am.
Fucking hell. And it's just
And I can drive home.
Yeah.
I'm the designated driver.
drive
now,
everyone
so it's
home.
perfect, yeah. It's been good, yeah. Because that was the other. I used to come up to your house on a Wednesday and watch football, and it's, you have a glass of wine, and that was it. That was the level you reached, and then you drive. You're good to drive. But it was just that feeling of I can't have another one, so it's almost time to go. But it's not time to go. You can sit there and just be normal, and have a night out. So.
Also, like many people in your industry, because it is hot, it is long hours, it is high pressure. I know when I lived in London, many of the chefs that I knew, they needed like many releases that tend to be drugs and alcohol and cigarettes. That was the three escapisms they had from, because they worked like 6-day shifts, they get a Sunday off, they never saw daylight. They were in there and I just thought, fuck, I would never want to be a chef. I just never want to be a chef. Just,
It's a brutal industry.
and they never quite pay, you don't get paid double the amount. You get paid the same salary, but you're expected to do double the work. I just fucking found that quite a challenging, when I used to see guys, I thought I'd never have that. But now you've turned your life around, now you're running fucking marathons, swimming kilometres a day, cycling kilometres a day, and all from the change of realising you were walking a path you weren't happy walking.
Yeah, I was just 40. I take inspiration from. I read lots of things. Rich Roll was one. We recently bumped into him on a beach in Suffolk Park here. That was another. But I'd changed prior to meeting him on that side. But I read his book ages ago, and I read it and it was inspirational. But I didn't use any of that inspiration to do anything with. But I have years later, so it's good that I read that years ago. It was almost like I put it in the bank to use in years to come, Yeah, absolutely. And then Game Changers, I watched that, and there was good information there, and everything just led me on it. I just felt like I was seeing more and more things. I wasn't happy in myself. I remember I popped the button on my size 36 shorts one morning, and I watched this button fly across my living room, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm heading one way. There's a one-way highway to, everything, and we know what. Yeah, I'm not a doctor, so but it's not a healthy lifestyle. So I just decided to make changes. I did a bit of research, and I just decided myself I was going to give things a turn. It's working. It's still working. I'm not there, so it's still just pushing through.
I always remember something I learned when I was studying a little bit of psychology or yoga. I can't remember what it was, but it said the teacher appears when the student's ready. So people can be throwing stuff down you all the time. You should do this. You should do this. Practice that, but you don't really do it until something happens. Until you're mentally ready at a time in your life, and you think that's what I'm doing. And that's true. It's that you can tell people fucking whatever you want to tell them, but until the student's ready, then the teacher appears, because the teacher's always been there.
And it works differently for everybody.
100%. But how many marathons have you run this year? Or triathlons?
Triathlons is
the plan?
It was as many as possible now. Last year, when I decided to lose a bit of weight and I decided I wasn't happy, I was looking for things to do, and I found the ocean swim in Byron. And I used to swim when I was a kid. I love swimming. If it's any sport that I can just hop in and do, it's swimming. That's my one. And I just signed up to it. And I went and did it on my own. Hardly anyone knew or anything like that. Yeah.
When was it?
The ocean swim last year.
Oh, I did it 2 years ago.
Byron one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was in for. I've never swam that length in an ocean. I did when I was in Bermuda, but long time ago. I think it's 3.5. Yeah, but not bad for a first jaunt into the water. So yeah, I was down on the, I got the bus from up here in my Speedos and went down the beach down there in Watergoes, and then swam back to town. And I was like, when I finished that, I just felt great. I was like, what an achievement, So then I signed up to the Byron Bay triathlon, which I've never done before, because obviously the swimming was the easy part, and I had a bike, so yeah, I did that, and that was a lot of fun as well. I did the sprint one, so the mini one. And then the start of this year, I just decided that, after I lost a bit of weight, I took 15 kilos off myself in 2.5 months. And
bags of muesli.
Yeah, that's 20 bags of muesli.
So it's a lot.
You look at it, you look at that weight, and I just thought, this is a good catalyst to move on. So I'm going to stay plant-based. I'm going to stay not drinking. I'm going to stay not smoking. I'm going to get up in the morning and go for a run before work and make that time to do these things. And it's just exponential, like more and more. So now I'm signing up I'm going to do the Olympic length this year in the triathlon series. I'm going to do a Pottsville Enduro, which is the Ironman length swim and bike without the run. And then in March, in May, I'm going to go and do the Coffs Harbour Ironman, which is huge. So.
Swimming's always part of it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm fucked. I can't swim, I can float.
As long as you're moving forward, you're getting closer to the end.
Yeah,
So I told
forever.
myself every time. So.
Nice and training.
Yeah. Swimming's great.
Can you use flippers?
Well, I think you can in some of the sprints and stuff.
It's funny how what you're saying is that, and I know I've heard this story many times, people get to that, let's call it middle age, 40 years, and they start to look at themselves and think, they start to do, what the fuck am I doing? Or they start to do extreme stuff, extreme sports. So you don't just want to go for a jog, you want to run the fucking till Melbourne and back. There's this level of these greater challenges. I wonder why that is. I don't have an answer for that.
Endurance. It's what you're left with the mental capacity for endurance, as opposed to a body like Dylan that can run super fast. You know what I mean? You're left with because that's what they say. You know, they say 80% of losing weight is in the diet, not in the gym. You know, it's like I think that
What you eat?
80% of endurance sports is in the mental capacity in your body. Because it's going to hurt. You know, you get to those points in those races. You could give up in a heartbeat, you know, but as long as you don't listen to that and you keep going.
It's funny how that you can tell yourself the level of satisfaction when you finish something can be quite great, but at the same time the same body and the same mind is telling you, stop it, it's too much, oh, stop, it's too hard, oh, no, don't do this. But other parts, fuck you, I'm going to do it. I wonder why these two, I always have these two conversations, the doer and the
You've got to listen to one and not the other. If you give that one that tells you to stop a voice, then you're going to stop, you know? So, yeah, you just don't listen to that one.
And you don't feel good about it.
Yeah.
Get right. You've got to
Have that ability to push on through. Good fun.
But it is. When you look at those, I look at the guys who do these road cyclists. I call them the lycra guys, the guys that spend heavily on all this equipment. But that looks like an interesting sport for people of our age, because the impact of running or whatever else it might be, but it's a real competitive fucking sport that can get quite aggressive. It's a good release of anger and frustration, and it's got testosterone. Putting it out in the right place on the saddle on the bike. I had a mate once, I went to see him, I work for this guy, and he invited me to his house for a meeting to talk about an event we were doing, and he was dressed in all the gear, with a big screen in front of his television, watching the Tour de France, with his bike off the wheel, sweating like a fucking pig. So he's talking to me about an event, he's already maybe 100 k's into this cycle, and he's going up hills, the bike everything's changing, and I just thought, he's a guy that's like totally disciplined to the art of cycling, just totally does it. That's his day. And I look at those guys, I think they're not that strong looking, but fuck, they are strong. Strength in the ring. I just think, how, if I was to cycle up a wee hill and my legs started to burn, I'd be, oh stop. These guys, I watch them go up the Alps and all sort of stuff, I just think, there's a lot of training and dedication and commitment. And there's a lot of, I don't know if it's good for your body, because there's a lot of, I saw these guys spewing on the side of the road and just, this is your body telling you that's probably too much, maybe too far, but then they're back on the bike the next day and they're off again, doing it again. You into that sort of stuff?
Not that extreme, no, definitely. Love the bike riding, like the whole aspect of that. And the training's fantastic.
Did you ever get the bike and get all the gear?
I can't wear lycra. I think I'm going to have to for this try. That's the other thing is, you know, I've embraced these sports, but I haven't gone full deep yet. So
That's when you start spending.
yeah, I've got to buy a tri-suit for this one. You know, the Ironman. Because I swim in my board shorts, and I've been doing it from a fun perspective. I think I'd have to take it a bit more seriously if I want to go for it. Yeah, but you won't find me, Brain.
Do you need to get into some lycra?
I think stay away from the lycra.
Yeah, I'm not into lycra. I might wear some underneath my shorts, but I just don't know. Mate, this is 40 years old. No one needs to see this anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's not.
It decreases the testosterone.
Lycra?
Yeah.
But it does increase the appeal of a woman. Whoever designed that stuff.
Nobody wants that.
I don't reckon.
It's not like yoga pants.
No, it's not, is it? No. Oh. I often wonder why they wear them. I thought it must be. I remember I said to one of the guys, "Why you shave? Why you guys all shave your legs?"
Go faster, they tell you.
No, he told me, he says, the chances of falling off your bike are very high. They say, so the worst part is falling, getting a road burn, and then all the hairs. So by the time you get to hospital, they've got to get all the hairs back out the wound. He goes, that's where the pain kicks in. He says, so by shaving, having clean legs, clean arms, whatever, if you do have a road burn, you're not going to feel that pain or potential for infection. So there was method in the madness.
Makes sense, yeah. I just thought it was a bunch of blokes that like shaving.
Me too. I thought the same thing. Yeah. But when he explained it, I thought, that's why it's good to ask questions, you know, because you can have an opinion, and then you can ask the question and get the right answer. Any questions for Chef Simon, Dylan?
Chef Simon.
Dylan's vegan.
Yeah?
Oh, he's vegetarian.
I'm not a veg.
Vegetarian.
I love oysters, so
Oh, yeah?
I'm not full veg.
No face, no mum and dad. Yeah.
So was the defining moment for you like when you were in the pub and you were like, yeah, I need to change the life around?
There's just little things, yeah. That pub that day was dark, you know, like sitting there listening to, and we were just drinking sorrows away. And that was the turning point. I didn't just take the drink out of the equation. You'd probably be a lot better off, and then I wouldn't feel rubbish till Wednesday. That was that one there. But that was just one little piece. That was the booze, and I knew that, you know, I looked at these things that were in my life. The booze, the cigarettes was another one. They had to go. That was easy enough.
Were you a big smoker?
Not big, like I'm blessed without an addictive personality. Like I tried the drugs like you did yourself, but I never fully reached into that. And I've got friends that have, you know, and I'm blessed, thankfully, to not have that. Yeah, that addictive personality. That's dangerous. So cigarettes again, like I pick them up, I have them, I leave them. I pick them up, I have them, I leave them. I go through periods where I'd smoke. You know what I mean? Like I'd use it as an excuse to go out at work. When you know, why do I need that? Why do I need the excuse? Just go for a walk around the block. You don't need to have a cigarette. It's the same thing. So you know, I advocate that at work now. You're not just the smokers go outside for 5 minutes, so you know you don't need that. That's just an excuse, mate. 100% an excuse.
There's like a level of injustice that the smokers get extra breaks and the non-smokers don't, and it would build resentment in the workplace because he's always got a fucking. And I think that's when coffee kicked in. So, well, he's going for a smoke, I'm going for a coffee. But you don't need an excuse, and that's the thing. I think we're always trying to find an excuse to do something that we think we probably shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Just take 5 minutes. When really, you're probably better off taking 5 minutes. You're going to be better off for it.
Just do a bit of breathing while out there for 5 minutes. Something.
I think that's what people do now is they go out and they're on the bloody phone. I was in the gym yesterday, and there was about 9 people sitting there like this. I thought, for fuck's sake, just fucking hell! It's like, here's a moment for yourself in the gym to do something.
I can't go to the gym. I have to go to F45. If I go to the gym, I'll sit there, I'll look at my phone. Before you know, you've been at the gym for an hour and a half, and you haven't done half of what you can do at F45 in a 45-minute session. So that's why that works for me. You know, it's that it's all laid out, it's done, everything's ready for you. You roll in, you exercise, you roll out. So that's where that works for me. Yeah. So that's my gym element.
So you sober now?
Absolutely, yeah.
How long have you been sober for?
Over 6 months now. Yeah, haven't touched it. I didn't have a problem before. I'd binge drink. I had that British mentality that you know you can't go to the pub and have a couple of beers. It was like it was 1 or 20, like not really 20, 10. Yeah, somewhere around that. But you could have a good session. You know, we went to the pub together back. That's been a long time now. So yeah,
I can't remember. Last time I remember, you went to the pub. We watched the England Rugby World Cup final, and you drank about 16 ginger beers.
Yeah, I transitioned from booze to ginger beer, and that was horrific because I was drinking so many of them. But now I've got through that, and I'm on the water, so that helps. Yeah, but that was bad. Yeah, I drank a lot of ginger beer. It was just like, what do you do? What do you drink when you go to the pub? I hadn't thought about that answer, you know. So.
Yeah, you can't get a water. We know you can get a water, but a pub's always been a pub, and that's the mentality of the pub. This new movement of alcohol-free,
It's huge.
it's becoming bigger.
We had a big booze trade event at work, and they brought loads of the alcohol-free stuff. So it seems to be more prevalent and popular.
You know where I see the issue in that place? They're still charging you $18 for a martini, even when it's not booze. Come on, it's fucking cordial. There's no tax on it. The government's not getting that tariff a bit. It has to come back. It has to be a reflection. It's not a money-making scheme. It is a money-making scheme, but when people tell me this thing, I just think, just have a water, have a cup of tea. I get so much joy from a cup of tea. I get so much joy from a cup of tea when you actually have the leaf in the pot, and you mix it. And you get a nice wee cup, nice wee teacup. The process because things are like, and that's the thing is everyone's built for convenience and fast. It's just fucking slow it down. Be fast when you're going to be fast, but be really slow when you don't have to be fast. And just take time. I always think it's taking time to
Take that time, enjoy things.
What's been the biggest learning from being sober? And is there a downfall to it?
No, none at all for me. I'll tell you what I've enjoyed the most is the not worrying about how many beers I've had before I drive home, or you know what I mean? Like that's been the best thing for me. That's the biggest plus. Oh, the financial savings. I pay for my car now.
Bit of a traffic jam.
I pay for my car with the money that I used to spend on beers. That's true. Like I literally pay for my car with the money I'd spend on beer. I'd easily spend $200 over the course of a week or whatever with that, buying beers. And you know, a case of beer, 60, 70, $80 now. It's like frightening, man. And so that's been real good for me. The weight loss is, I think that attributes to it as well as the diet as well. I think so.
I gave up. Was it Feb fast? I call them Feb. Once I've done it the month. Me and Sally were in bed by 9 o'clock every night. Just fucking head nodding.
You find you're more productive as well?
100%, yeah. Especially on those Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. Yeah. So, yeah. Just not having that. Yeah, it's a lot less stressful. I find for me, yeah, it's good. It feels good. The financial aspects are fantastic. It's just freed up.
What about the ice baths? How many ice baths do you have?
None at the moment, but I want to get into them. Yeah, hard. I'm looking. We need to find somewhere where we can do that.
Well, I think I found one. Tell us who you met sitting in Kiva Spa in Mullumbimby.
Oh, Wim Hof. Didn't even know about it. Yeah, so I was in Kiva Spa and met a fellow who was running a course on ice baths. He was telling me all about the ice baths and the process and what he took away from it and everything like that. And I didn't actually realise that I'd actually met Wim Hof. Yeah, so. And then I think that was like a couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. And now I wish I'd meet him again so that I could go to one of those things and do that. Yeah.
What did he say? What's the benefits of a fucking ice bath? Like what?
Oh, it's fantastic. You'd have to research into all his stuff like that. Like he had. Off the top of my head, there was medical issues and things like that he's fixed using that process. But yeah, I think that's.
I know that sporting guys that can sport in the ice baths.
Yeah, for lactic acid reduction. I think.
I remember in Richard Branson, I think it was his first book, he was telling the story how when they went on the balloon across the Atlantic, and they were coming at it with this guy Pierre Lindstrom or something. And when they were coming down to try and land in Britain, something went wrong and the balloon was shooting up and Pierre told Richard to jump into the ocean just to get at the balloon that's going to fucking whatever. And so Pierre jumped, the Branson stayed in the thing, and he got dragged in the balloon and ended up, it came down an island, so it overshot England, landed in Ireland. And when he was picked up 2 or 3 years later with the emergency services, they said, "Where's Pierre, the other guy?" And they said, "No, he jumped when we came down to hit on the North Sea, or it was, he jumped in the North Sea. He's still there, he's been in there for 3 hours." So they flew back and they thought he's going to be dead, this guy's going to be dead. And they get there and there he is, he's floating. They come down to pick him up. And later on Branson was, "How did you survive it?" Because the water was like 5 degrees or whatever it is, 8 degrees. And the guy says, "When I was a child in Sweden, we used to always jump in the frozen lakes because we would celebrate, I think it was the celebration of the wee shrimp, the shrimp season, and they all would jump in naked and we'd be in there for a bit of time." And he said that practice as a kid helped him probably save his life as an adult. And Branson said he would have died for sure.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Because I've never been exposed to that sort of stuff. I know Sally, my wife, she has a nice cold shower every morning.
I have a cold shower every day.
I'm kind of half. I've not got the cold knob turned on full yet, but I've kind of feel it.
I'm convinced it's good for you.
I mean, you feel when you come out, you feel awake at least.
No, just
When you jump in the ocean, like a cool ocean, you come out, you're like, wow.
Oh, how good is that? That's the best thing about the triathlon is hitting that water first. Because you know when you get in, if I went down for a swim now, I'd gently go in and get the boys in, you know, and then get your body in and whatever like that. With that triathlon, you straight in, run it, straight in into the water and go. And it's like that entry Yeah, that's the best part of the whole thing, I think, and finishing.
Finishing in the euphoria.
What's the toughest thing of being about a chef?
Oh, I don't know, man. That's a hard question. But chefing, it's different nowadays to when I was younger. Being a chef, back when I worked in London, we'd work like no word of a lie, 80 to 100 hours a day. I used to go to work when I worked in London at the Scargo. We'd be there at 7 in the morning over the Christmas period, and you wouldn't leave till 11. It's dark to dark. You'd be in there. At best you get half an hour to run outside and have a cigarette and whatever like that, and that could be 6 days a week. So that was a tough. So nowadays, like the job itself, the hours that I do now, I do 50 hours a week now. So that's all good. It's a tough job being in that hospitality industry, working and
Very social.
you deal with a lot of people. I've got 52 in my team in the kitchen, so dealing with all those individual personalities. It's a big team now, like that's a huge property. I'm dedicated to looking after my staff. I make sure they work 4 days a week. They don't do more than 40 hours a week. I'm not one of these businesses that flogs my salaried staff for 60 hours and pays them for 38 and stuff like that. So I play in a different ballpark to a lot of places. So that's hard, is that management of that and maintaining that and trying to keep the morale up and everything like that from that perspective. It's a hard business anyway, pleasing people, like that's always been tough.
That's a good question Dylan likes to ask people for his podcast. Tell us one thing that people don't know about you.
One thing that people don't know about me.
Yeah, or a weird little habit.
One thing that people don't know
Something
about
that
me.
you keep to yourself, you don't know if everyone else knows. Could be that you stuff your face with peanut butter, or you do naked swims, something bizarre.
The one secret that I don't tell anyone is I did spend a weekend in Miami Penitentiary over the Thanksgiving weekend after being arrested in Florida for an arms deal, and that is true. Yeah, we'll leave it there. Yeah, I was out on Monday morning. It wasn't me, but yeah, that is true.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Yeah,
Arms deal, so what happened?
I can't say. I legit can't say. Yeah.
Get him on your podcast. Get him on Dylan Nicholson's journey. You can get over him.
I'll get it out of him.
Well, thank you, Simon. Laters.
Cheers.